Good morning.
Good morning, Finn. It's Robin Little here with my trusty wheelchair. I have multiple sclerosis, and I was diagnosed when I was 28. But when I was 14, I went to my doctor and asked what was wrong with me, and my doctor said, "Don't worry, you'll grow out of it." So I'm still waiting to grow out of it, but in the meantime, other doctors figured out it was MS. So this is my wheelchair, and I use it when I have to go longer distances than about 100 meters, because that's too far for me to walk. I do 80 exercises in my bed every morning, and then on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I work out at the pool. I do laps in the pool and do water exercises. And then on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, I go to BuzzFit and I work out at BuzzFit. Also have a car that I do drive myself. My car has been adapted so that I can drive it without using my legs.
So Robin, who do you have in your support that can take care of you on days that you don't feel good and you can't go get milk, let's say?
Nobody.
Nobody, because your brother...
My brothers, I have two brothers, but one lives in Ottawa and the other one lives in Kingston area. I was going to show you my car.
Okay.
So my car's over here. My car is a Mazda 5, and it was specifically recommended to me because it has a sliding door like a van. Now, I did go to a friend's house yesterday, and she's moving, so she loaded up the back of my car with stuff that she doesn't want. So there's some things in here that don't belong. But one of the things that is in here, and you can see it, is that weird looking contraption actually can lift the wheelchair up and slide it in and slide it out.
Okay.
The other thing that's been done to my car is that so that I don't need to use my legs to drive, I have that arm that comes around, and that controls the brakes and the gas. And the thing on the steering wheel, the knob on the steering wheel, is what I can hold on to. For a long time, I had such a bad tremor in my left arm and hand that I couldn't really do anything with it. It was too dangerous. If I answered the phone, I'd be smacking myself in the head with the phone. So I had brain surgery in 2007, and I have what's called a DBS, a deep brain stimulator. Good morning, sir. So there's a bump right here on my head where the hole in the skull still is, and they just packed it with bandages and then put the scalp back over it. But there's a little chip deep in my thalamus in the brain, and I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but you can see the wire is right here.
Yes, I can see it.
And then I have a battery right here, and the battery sends an extra 2.6 volts of electricity to the left arm so that I can actually do stuff with the left arm. I can close the door, I can open the door, it's not shaking all over the place anymore. I can cut food with a knife and fork again. I had to learn how to do that again because it was 10 years that it was shaking so badly that I really couldn't use it much. So the brain surgery was absolutely fantastic. One of the reasons I think why I was so sick in December was that I had just been diagnosed with cancer, and that really was, oh, how can this be? But good news, people, because at the end of May, this is where I had the surgery. It wasn't thyroid cancer, it was actually skin cancer, but it was inside my skin.
How did you get diagnosed with cancer? What happened? You didn't feel good, or?
No, I could feel a lump.
Okay.
And for years I felt the lump, and again I asked a doctor about it, and they said, "Oh, don't worry, it's nothing." Okay. So at the end of May, they were able to surgically remove the cancer. It had become infiltrative, so it had started to grow and had wrapped itself around a nerve. But the surgeon, absolutely amazing, she cut all the cancer cells off from around the nerve and was able to get it all out in one shot, which is incredible. So I am
Which
cancer-free.
hospital was that?
That was at the Jewish General.
Yes, they're very good. They're very good.
So so that because of that, and with MS, anything that creates stress
Yeah.
will make your MS worse. You have what's called secondary progressive. MS usually starts with relapsing remitting. Something goes wrong, but then it gets better. For
Right.
instance, I lost 100% of the hearing in my right ear, but I managed to have 75% come back. So I had relapsing remitting for about 10 years after I was diagnosed in 1989, and then it switched over to secondary progressive. So now what's gone wrong continues to worsen. I don't know by how much, I don't know when it's going to worsen, but then with the added cancer, that definitely created a great deal of stress for me. And since then, I've now been having MS attacks as well. So all of a sudden, something happens, and that usually didn't happen before at all. It was more of a sort of slowly progressing. So right now, I will not go anywhere without either my wheelchair or my walker right with me. Whereas before, I would have been able to sort of park the walker and walk away a short distance from it, but now there's no way, because my knees now are giving out, or it's the nerves are not sending the signals to my knees to
walk
the way that they're supposed to walk. My right leg, for the most part, still knows how to walk, but when I do walk, I have to think, lift, forward, down. Okay, every year I do my MS walk in my wheelchair. It's 5 kilometers. So I'm usually the last one to make it back to we start in Dollar des Ormeaux at French High School, and we have a course that we follow. And there are some people that come in their scooters, so they really rip through the course. But there's a lot of able-bodied people that are there walking. It's a lot of people with MS, but there are a lot of able-bodied people, friends, family, that come as well. In fact, one of my students, she comes every year with her family, and they walk it. I raise money for the walk, and anybody who wants to contribute is welcome to contribute.
So yes, thank you for bringing that up. I wanted to ask you, we could donate money throughout the year. We don't have to wait until you're doing the walk.
Yeah,
right?
You can, absolutely.
You have a website, which I will show people where it is, and they could contribute at any time.
At any time,
for the cause.
For the cause, and actually, because when one walk finishes almost within a month, I have set up my website for the next walk.
For the next one, yes.
So it is, supporting me for the walk, but all that money, I don't keep any of that money. All that money goes to MS research. So it really is a
So
huge
what's your
benefit.
objective for 2020, sorry?
2020 is to raise $10,000.
Just yourself?
Yep.
And right now you're at 5% of your goal?
Oh, for 2020, I am at 0 part of my goal.
Oh, 0 part. Well,
but for 2019, I did raise 10,000.
Good for you.
And so
well, Billy and I will be donating
on
behalf of HFH for your 2020 goal. So you won't be at 0%, you'll be somewhere else, a little higher.
And I do have people, in fact, someone called me the other day and asked if they could donate to MS, even though the walk is not happening right now. And I said, sure. So it doesn't have to be through the walk.
So my question is, if you were to change and go back in time.
Yes.
Now, you know that I help people with financial security, meaning life insurance, critical illness, dental health, and all that.
Right.
But it's not about helping people to buy insurance. It's really helping people to be better financially prepared in case of an illness, which I'm a big advocate of, more than for death, because everyone knows the value of life insurance, but they don't really understand critical illness. So my question to you today is, if you could go back in time and do something different in terms of insurance or critical illness, what would that be, and how would that have affected your life?
I definitely would have bought critical illness insurance, because my mom was diagnosed with MS when she was 55. And then I, like I said, asked my doctor what was wrong with me. So I had time that I could have
thought
purchased
of
it.
Yeah.
And it would have made such a difference, because Well, I don't know if you can see my hairstyle. I mean, I like it like this, but I cut my own hair because that's a way to save money. A lot of people I know go out to Tim Hortons and they buy coffees. And, I don't do that. There's any way I can save money, I do. And it's funny because quite often when you go to, if you Google it, you know, how do you save money? The most common thing is say, don't go out to buy lunches or buy coffees and that. And I thought, well, yeah, I don't do that. Haven't done that for years. So it's always a struggle. I think most people who are disabled and didn't know about critical illness insurance or didn't think to purchase it ahead of time, they really do struggle with finances. The place I live, it's subsidized by the Quebec government, thankfully, and so I can afford it.
Would you mind if I ask how much you have to pay?
Yeah, it's $950 a month.
Out of your pocket?
Yeah.
And it's subsidized?
Yeah, because otherwise it would be over $1,400 a month. And then I did go and try to find a place that was less expensive. The only one that I could find on the West Island that was still actually $900 a month was half the size. It was 500 square feet, whereas mine is 1,000 square feet.
So Robin, can I ask you, you mentioned you're 58 now, so starting at age 60, you'll be eligible for Quebec pension plan.
Yes.
Do you have a financial advisor that would take care of you and look at what you have, how your money could grow for you, how much it would last, how long it would last, and so on?
Not really. I mean, I did work for the bank. I know I said I was a teacher. I am a teacher. I don't think you ever stop being a teacher, but I also worked for the Royal Bank. And
that's where we met.
Yes, it is.
That's where we met, at Place Greeley, RBC. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. But with the bank, as my MS was progressing, I had to cut down the days of the week I was working. So that finally when I stopped working, I was down to just 2 days a week.
Right.
And with a lot of companies that I'm aware of, as well as with the bank, you're only paid then a portion of your final salary. So I only receive from the bank $175 a month. So it really is not a really good pension.
No.
And that's why most often people with disabilities don't have a lot of money, is because they only were able to work in the workforce for a limited period of time.
Correct.
So to have somebody to give advice as to how things should be invested probably would be a very good idea, especially because I am not sure. Should I take the Quebec pension at 60 or should I wait until 65?
That's right. How would that impact you, right? Taking an early pension from the Quebec government would give you a reduced amount for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And would that be better or worse than staying neutral and not taking anything and waiting 5 more years until 65?
Yeah.
Well, definitely we can help you with that. And
thank you.
So I wanted to thank you for sharing your story with us.
My pleasure.